Hi, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your Psychic Tarot Love Reading. This reading is for my Gemini, Libra and Aquarius air signs. The timestamps are below, where we'll be taking a deeper dive into your person's hidden feelings for you. This is a love reading and it's for those of you who are already connected with someone. Even if you are currently in no contact with your person, this will be a very specific message, so it may not resonate for all of you. If it feels right, then it's meant for you. Otherwise, you may want to check out the readings for your other placements, so Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then get notified when the next videos are up. So Gemini, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Gemini, before I start pulling any cards. I'm also a psychic reader, so I like to see what gets shown to me. I'm feeling like your boundaries are being compromised, or you're allowing your boundaries to be compromised. And I do get the sense of you voicing, multiple times to the person that you're dealing with, what you need from them, what you will accept, what you won't accept. But then things keep happening, which are, compromising those boundaries. And, when I feel into the energies here, I feel like there's a little bit of fear in you that, might be afraid to lose this person. And so you're kind of letting things slide. I feel like they're not stepping up in some way. They're not spending enough time with you. They're not investing, in the way that you really need them to. I feel like there's kind of some external influences which, may be taking their time or their energy. So with your overall energy, we have the Six of Swords. This is a card of a transition. And very much this energy of, moving away from a challenging time towards calmer shores. But it's a card of a transition. It also represents overcoming, issues, solving problems. And, there is always an invitation here, for that to be done, as a couple, like the two figures in the boat. It's a card of learning from the past. And, taking the wisdom from, past experiences, the things which, haven't been working, and taking the wisdom, with you moving forward so that, you can move to a better place and move away from, challenges, difficulties towards, a place of healing, of, calmer shores. So your person's view of you, we have strength, their feelings towards you, the Eight of Cups, their intentions, the Five of Cups, your feelings towards your situation, the Seven of Swords. Not really liking the energy of this. The Seven of Swords often indicates dishonesty and somebody hiding things. There's definitely a lack of trust here. And I do feel that there's been conversations, and I get the sense of quite a big social energy with the person that you're dealing with. And it might be they have a certain lifestyle that involves, a lot of social stuff, hanging out with friends. I mean, that could be work colleagues as well. And it has a kind of an energy of toxicity about it to me. Some of you might be dealing with someone who, may be a little bit of a player, because I don't know, I always get that kind of energy from this Seven of Swords. Somebody hiding things, deception, not wanting you to, see certain things here. And I do get the sense of, like I said, multiple conversations around, what you really want from them. But I feel like this is someone that you've kind of let your heart go in there. And there are these attachments. And, whatever conversation has taken place, I feel like it was, something that was requiring, the person that you're dealing with to grow. And, there was an invitation here to step up and to perhaps embrace the connection more fully. But that involves, perhaps some adjustments and some change. And what I'm seeing here is somebody moving on. So for some of you, this may have happened. Now, this is their feelings towards you. The Eight of Cups, there's some kind of emotional departure here. And it does very often represent, either you moving on or the person that you're dealing with moving on, going off in a different direction, because we also have the Five of Cups, disappointment, sadness, regret, loss. In the Challenge, we have the Six of Wands, and, this just speaks to me of a real struggle here around, especially with strength there, around the person that you're dealing with, really being able to step up. A real struggle to, acknowledge, what it is you really need from them, to really acknowledge and recognize that, and to honor the connection here. The hidden influence, we have the Nine of Cups. Some lessons here around, I feel, looking after your emotional world and you looking after your needs, because, there is this fear somehow that I'm feeling around losing this person. It does feel like, in many ways, there's someone, that did bring something, that I do feel like you had fun with this person. There was a way that you did connect with each other, something kind of special that, felt very authentic to the two of you. And I do feel you saw the potential, but I'm just getting the sense of kind of falling in love with who you thought they would be. Falling in love with the potential, the dream, but the reality feels like it's something a little bit different to me. This may also be someone you have kind of taken a step back from right now. That's another way that I can read the cards here. Their feelings towards you, that could be you, detaching emotionally, pulling your energy back, moving on, and they may very well be feeling some regret right now and some, a sense of loss and sadness. But of course, there are two cups still standing in this card. That it could be that there is something still that could be salvaged here. But there's clearly, some trust issues in the connection here. And when I feel into your energy, I feel like you're being quite open, quite clear. You wear your heart on your sleeve, and there's a very kind of honest, open energy. And I just feel like the person you're dealing with is, maybe has some certain behaviors where, it may be that they are a little bit of a player. They're kind of wanting to hold on to some kind of independence somehow. Because I do feel this kind of social energy, which could, it could be someone who is just, entertaining connections, conversations, online conversations, which you know, it feels like someone who's just kind of keeping options open somehow. And I do feel like your intuition is telling you all of this. And of course, you know, that breaks trust. And it's very difficult to build, you know, a healthy long-term connection with someone if you don't trust them, because that's what I'm feeling is kind of going on here. And there is an invitation, you know, there is always an invitation, you know, on both sides to heal and grow, to overcome this together. But it is going to involve, you know, some change. It is going to involve perhaps, you know, a difficult conversation. And it's going to involve, you know, actions which are actually going to back up the, you know, that conversation. So with your advice from the universe, the Five of Swords, I feel like, you know, this may be a message for you to just take a step back and really look at this situation and what you really have with this person, because there is something that to me just feels it has an element of toxicity to it. And just make sure you're seeing the whole picture here, because I do feel like we all can sometimes, we see a potential and we have all these kind of hopes and, you know, wishes of, you know, what this could be. You see the potential, we see the potential in that person, you know, who they could be in our lives. But it's so important to, you know, to deal with the reality and what is right now. You're being asked to see the whole picture here and to perhaps reassess this situation and perhaps cut ties with anything, you know, anybody which does not feel healthy for you, that feels toxic in some way. That's what I feel the message of this card is today for you. You know, the Five of Swords is all about conflict. And it may be that there has been some kind of conflict here. But it's also about, you know, not being afraid to, you know, cut ties with something which, you know, isn't really giving you what you truly want and deserve here. So in the outcome, we have the High Priestess, which is all about, you know, trusting your intuition, because there's something about this Seven of Swords. You know, you may be dealing with someone who is a player, and they may be, you know, seeing other people, but kind of sneaking around and hiding things from you. And your intuition, you know, is one of your greatest gifts here. So you're being asked to really trust, you know, what your intuition is telling you. Because, you know, deep down inside, you know, we usually know, you know, we have that sense. So let's just get your person's hidden message for you. So the hidden message is more for those of you who are in some kind of, you know, no contact situation. So Gemini, I am not available. That's what I feel from this person. It just feels like you're dealing with someone who is really not on the same page as you. They're really not ready, and they're not really ready to let go of whatever that lifestyle is. I remember every detail of that day. We will be together again. Hopefully, if that does happen in a much better way. My life is not as together as it seems. I knew exactly what I was doing. I want you. But wanting you is different from love, you know, so that is something also to just, you know, think about. You need more than a physical connection. So Gemini, I'm going to leave that there. We are going to move on to Libra. Libra. Okay, one more shuffle. Okay, Libra, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Libra, before I start pulling any cards. I'd just like to see what comes through here. I feel like there's something external going on here. I feel like your energy is being pulled in a different direction. And it might be that for some of you, there has been some kind of work opportunity or offer that has come in, which may involve perhaps a location change or a move or something like that. And I feel like you're in a connection with somebody, and this has brought up a lot of questions about that connection as to, you know, it may not be a location change or something like that, but I just feel that there are other things in life that you want to fulfill right now, you know, other life goals, dreams. You know, there's a desire for you to experience more of yourself in some way. And I do feel like there's somebody that you're in a connection with. It does feel like someone that you have some history with here. But there is this question, you know, have you grown apart? You know, is this a moment to kind of just honor that you've grown apart and maybe you have different paths? Or is it not over yet? You know, because I do feel like this is also someone that you really care about. So with your overall energies, we have death, which is a card of transition. It's a card of change. And death is not a negative card. It's all about, you know, endings and beginnings. So it's actually a card of rebirth. And that may be a process that you are kind of currently in, Libra. You know, some kind of rebirth, which involves, you know, letting go of old versions of ourselves, you know, sometimes, you know, negative limiting beliefs, and some kind of transition into a new version of yourself, a new energy. So with your person's view of you, we have the Fool, their feelings towards you, the Moon. I feel like they are sensing that you are really questioning things right now. And I do get the energy of, you know, them feeling like they really don't know where they stand with you right now, because the Moon often indicates, you know, a lack of clarity of a situation. Sometimes it can, you know, represent, you know, things being hidden, unseen, dishonesty sometimes. But very often it's when there is a situation going on where there is a lack of clarity, a lack of really knowing, you know, where they stand with you. With their view of you, the Fool, a new beginning, a new chapter, you know, so that can be that they're wanting a fresh start with you, but it may also be because for some of you, I feel like something has occurred externally which is going to potentially affect the connection, and it's some kind of new beginning for you. And, you know, that could involve, you know, a move or something like that, or, you know, it could be, you know, something which is going to affect the connection in some way. Their intentions towards you, the Two of Pentacles. So a choice, you know, this often represents, you know, weighing things up, juggling different things. It's also an energy of working out what's truly important, you know, getting your priorities in order. Sometimes it's also a card to let you know that, you know, you can find a balance, you know, between whatever these things are. You know, whatever this thing is that is potentially going to impact the connection. Some of you, you know, it might be a promotion where, you know, that's going to require perhaps some travel, or, you know, it's going to take more of your time, which could potentially, you know, affect your connection with this person. Your feelings towards your situation, the Five of Pentacles. Now, this is sometimes a card of, you know, feeling like you're on the outside of something. It's sometimes a card of feeling abandoned. I feel like you might be dealing with someone who is in an energy of a fear of losing you. They see that you have some potential fresh start. They may also want to, you know, be part of that. But there is a fear to lose you. And I feel like what may have happened here is, instead of kind of celebrating, you know, whatever path this is that you want to walk, they've kind of closed off and kind of shut down on you. And so for you, I feel like that's manifesting as feeling like you're not being supported. And so there is this big question, you know, is that something you can both get through? Can this work? Can you find the balance between, you know, whatever this external influence is and the connection? And for you, that there is this question, you know, is this, you know, is it time to perhaps just walk away from this and walk a different path? I do feel like there's love and caring. I feel like this is a long-term connection. And so, of course, there are attachments, there's love there. And, you know, but I keep hearing that question, you know, have we grown apart? You know, is this a completion? What lies in the challenge is the world, and this is a card of an upgrade. I often think of it as a graduation card. You know, it's about endings, beginnings. So we have death, we have the world, you know, some kind of, you know, very significant point in time where, you know, one chapter ends and a whole new chapter begins. And, you know, with the world being the challenge, you know, this may be, you know, where the relationship is feeling a little bit stuck right now, because, you know, there is this challenge around, you know, taking things to the next level somehow, you know, working through whatever this change is, and doing that together and kind of taking things to the next level, using it as an opportunity to grow and evolve together. Because I do feel, you know, in order to, you know, get past this together, you know, the moon here also represents, you know, somebody's subconscious world. And that's why I say I feel like, you know, there is a little bit of healing that needs to happen here, where fears, insecurities, you know, really need to be acknowledged, you know, by the person that you're dealing with, in order for you to actually be able to go, okay, so, you know, let's really work on this together. So with the hidden influence, we have the King of Cups. And that was something right at the beginning. I was seeing that, you know, that for some of you, it might be that there is another person here. And, you know, there may be somebody around you that you are also seeing a potential with, that you're feeling some kind of connection to. That's not going to resonate for all of you, but for some of you, you know, it might be a choice between two people. Or there is an invitation for your current connection to really move into those energies of being able to go deeper and to support you emotionally, you know, to be able to hold that space to support you emotionally. So with your advice from the universe, we have the Nine of Swords. So this is an energy of, you know, just being careful not to get too stuck in your thoughts, in your mind. This is an energy of anxiety and getting a little bit stuck in your head. And the invitation, when I see that in the advice position, I feel like it's important to, you know, not to overthink things here. I feel like, you know, this is about getting in touch with your heart. What does your heart truly want in this situation? Working out, you know, what is truly important to you in life. And making your decision, you know, based on that. And, you know, whatever kind of external factors or logistical things, you know, might still be a challenge here. You know, when you make that decision, I just feel like the universe kind of starts to, you know, line things up for you so that things can work out. Sometimes, you know, we just have to kind of be willing to, you know, be in the energy of, okay, somehow this will be possible, even if we don't see how that is just yet. So in your outcome, we have the Knight of Cups. So a new offer of love, a renewed energy of love for some of you. And, you know, that could well be, you know, your person that you're dealing with transformed and some kind of renewal of this connection. For some of you, you know, it may be about moving towards something new. So Libra, let's get your person's hidden message for you. So this is more for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation. Libra. I'm starting to understand our connection. It was my fault, but I blamed you. I love you. I wish I had treated you better. It sounds like your person's doing a lot of reflecting right now, so it's very positive. I left when I saw you as someone. That's going to resonate for some of you. I don't react when people mention you, but clearly, you know, you are very much in their thoughts and their feelings right now. So we are going to move on to Aquarius. Aquarius. Okay. Just going to do one more shuffle. Just feel like I need one more. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, let's jump in. So I'm just going to feel into the energies first, Aquarius, before I start pulling any cards. I'd just like to see what comes through. Also a psychic reader, so I like to see what gets shown to me. I was feeling this in your monthly reading as well, like I'm just feeling quite a challenging time for you. And I do feel some toxicity. I feel like there's been conflict. I feel like there's been a lot of conflict and very much an energy of not feeling seen, not feeling that your needs are being, you know, honored, acknowledged. not feeling respected. Just look at your overall energies. So the overall energies is the Ace of Wands. This is fire energy, passion. Speaks of, you know, strong physical attraction very often. Your person's view of you, the Hierophant. Their feelings towards you, the Eight of Wands. Their intentions towards you, the Three of Cups. So clearly, some of you are in some kind of no contact situation here. As you know, the Eight of Wands is all about incoming messages. If you are blocked, you know, or vice versa, you know, this represents, you know, communication channels opening and, you know, incoming messages, fast moving energy. So yeah, with their intentions towards you, the Three of Cups. Often a card of reconciliation. That's why I'm wondering if some of you are actually in a no contact situation here. Clearly there's a strong physical attraction here. Let me just see your feelings. So you are guarded, the Seven of Wands. To me, this is an energy of somebody who, you know, knows what you want. They know that you want that long-term commitment, you know, because this is how they're seeing you. And the Hierophant is all about the type of connection, you know, in a love reading where it's built on strong foundations of, you know, shared values, you know, and it is a card that usually speaks of commitment. You know, for some of you that would be marriage or moving in together. And, you know, these are the kind of connections which do stand the test of time because they're built on those strong foundations, you know, shared values, mutual trust, shared beliefs, you know, those strong foundations are there, you know, which often do carry you through, you know, difficult times. And in this case, when I see that as their view of you, I feel like they know what you want. That you want that long-term commitment. But I just feel like, you know, are you on different pages from this person? Because, you know, clearly there's a strong physical attraction here, but I'm also feeling like some toxic behaviors going on. They do want to reconcile with the Three of Cups. So, like I said, if you're in some kind of no contact situation, I do feel that, you know, that is going to open up. I do see them reaching back out again to you to, you know, reconnect, to reconcile. And that's you. I mean, I feel like you're very guarded at the moment. And I actually feel kind of like rightly so, because you know, there's something on your side where I almost get the sense of them, you know, yeah, great physical attraction, you have a lot of fun together, but they're not stepping up, you know, in the way that you really need. And I feel like you're wanting something long-term, something healthy, loving connection, healthy connection. And there's something toxic going on here. And, you know, I feel like it's important in this as well. You know, this is someone with their guard up, being cautious, being kind of closed off and barriered, which is you. But it's also a card of, you know, standing in your truth. And that is, you know, the lesson in this for you, Aquarius. You know, standing in your truth, regardless of, you know, whatever difficulties or challenges might be going on here. not settling for less. This is about you staying true to what you really deserve from somebody, what your true needs are, what you really want in a partner. What lies in the challenge here is the Eight of Cups. I was about to say that I feel like there is a fear to lose this person, a fear to let go, a fear to move on. Because the Eight of Cups represents some kind of departure, some kind of emotional departure where, someone is moving away from something that is emotionally unfulfilling, with a view to, of course, like moving towards, something that is. So there's a challenge to move on. And sometimes I feel like what the challenge is letting go of the potential that we saw in somebody, letting go of the person we wanted them to be. Letting go of, how we wanted it to turn out. And I feel like that's the challenge here. Because again, I feel like you're dealing with someone who knows what you want. They know you want that further commitment, but they are, just not stepping up in that way. Even though they want to reconcile, I feel like, this is more of, a physical attraction rather than somebody that's, really wanting, that long-term, future connection. And there is a fear to let go of that potential here. Because really, if you come into the reality, there's something that's, toxic about this connection. You're not getting your needs met. You're not feeling respected. You're not feeling seen. You're not feeling received for who you really are and what you truly want. And I feel like the fear is, if you let go of that, it's going to bring up your issues. But sometimes, we need to go there. It's going to bring up, those soul lessons that you need to learn. It's going to bring up, feeling not enough, not good enough, feeling unloved, abandoned, all of those things. And I really do feel like this connection, it may not be that this person was meant to stay. I feel like they're part of, some kind of powerful soul lesson here around, you really choosing you, knowing your worth, your value, loving yourself in this situation, and not being afraid to let go of, what is, really not giving you what you want here. So the hidden influence is strength. So this is an energy of, facing fears and insecurities. And just a little reminder here, Aquarius, that you do have the courage to get through this. You do have the strength to get through this. But it may involve, facing whatever fears and insecurities those are. So in your guidance, we have the Queen of Wands. I feel like this is a really powerful soul lesson for you. And even though this might be challenging right now, what will happen when you come out the other side of this is you reclaiming your power. Dealing with, whatever these fears and insecurities are, working on yourself, doing that inner work and healing, and really stepping in, to these soul lessons of, truly knowing your worth. The Queen of Wands is a very powerful energy. She's very magnetic. And this is all about you taking your power back, and, you know, really stepping into that, and not only that, expressing that and not settling for less here. And, you know, just, you know, really being in those energies of, you know, loving who you are, loving who you are as your authentic self. You know, the Queen of Wands is an energy that isn't afraid to be, you know, who she truly is, that who she is enough. And that can be male or female, of course. And, you know, not being afraid, you know, to be who you truly are, because it's so important to do that. It's about being who you truly are, because then, you know, other people can see whether they resonate with that or not. So then you attract, you know, the right people in for you. So what lies in your outcome is the Queen of Pentacles. And I really like that as the outcome, because this card is all about really knowing your worth and your value. And in this situation, you know, really making sure that you take care of yourself, you take care of your needs, particularly your emotional needs. But, you know, it's about nurturing yourself and really treasuring yourself and what you have to give, and just making sure that you do give that to the right person moving forwards. So Aquarius, let's get your person's hidden message for you. So the hidden message is for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation. So Aquarius, I remember every detail of that day. So many things remind me of you. I wish things could be different. I hid who I really am from you. I feel you even though we're apart. Let's do one more. We will be together again. Well, if that happens, you know, let's hope there's, you know, this person steps up for you and really makes some shifts here. And just remember, you know, absolutely stay true to you. Don't settle for anything less here. So Aquarius, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.